My father's dying wish is haunting me, and I don't know if I'll survive saying no. I never thought I'd be here, typing this like some creepypasta protagonist, but here I am. I've always known my family was different. We weren't just eccentric, we had traditions that made even our closest friends raise their eyebrows. But I never questioned it because when you grow up in the middle of it, you think it's normal. Until my father got sick. My dad had always been this towering, powerful figure. The kind of man people listen to without knowing why. When he spoke, you felt it vibrate in your chest. 3 months ago, he collapsed during one of our family gatherings. The diagnosis? A rare, fast-spreading cancer. The doctors gave him weeks, maybe a couple of months. The day he came home from the hospital for hospice care, everything in the house changed. The air felt heavier. My relatives, uncles, aunts, cousins, started visiting constantly, whispering in corners, giving me these strange, pitying looks. On the second night, my mother came into my room. She looked exhausted, her mascara smeared, her hair in disarray. She sat on my bed and said 5 words I'll never forget. He's chosen you, Sophia. I laughed. Nervously. Chosen me for what? She didn't laugh back. Instead, she started crying. This is where things get insane. She told me that our family has carried a gift for generations. A spiritual power, wealth, influence, protection that only flows through a single bloodline. But there's a catch, the head of the bloodline has to be reincarnated into the next generation to keep it alive. To make that happen, the dying head, in this case, my father, must consume the innocence of a direct blood heir. My innocence. Consume as in, you know. I thought she was joking at first. I told her she was sick, and I tried to leave, but she grabbed my wrist so hard it bruised. Sophia, if you refuse, he'll die. And the bloodline will rot. We'll lose everything. The house, the power, our lives. You think this cancer is natural? It's the bloodline decaying already. I locked myself in my room for days after that, but I could still hear them preparing. Chanting. Cooking strange herbs that made the whole house smell like iron and honey. At night, my father's voice echoed from his room, prayers in a language I didn't recognize. 2 nights ago, they cornered me during dinner. My dad, pale and gaunt, was carried to the head of the table. His voice was hoarse but commanding. Sophia, you are my daughter. My flesh. You will carry my soul into the future. Refuse, and you will doom us all. The rest of the family nodded, like zealots. Even my younger brother, Aaron, 17M, stared at me like I was betraying them all. My mother said it again. It won't hurt. It's only 1 night. Then it's over. Last night, I decided to run. I packed a bag and snuck out the window. But as I was leaving, Aaron appeared in the yard. You can't run, Sophia, he said. His voice wasn't right. It was deeper. Older. You're not the vessel. I froze. What do you mean? He smiled, but it wasn't his smile. Mother lied to you. You're not his child. Aaron is. You're a decoy. I've always been destined to carry him. That's when I saw it, Aaron's shadow split behind him. It wasn't human anymore. It stretched, warped into a towering figure with horns and 2 faces, one crying, one laughing. I bolted. I didn't stop running until I reached my friend's apartment across town.
My dad worked at a mortuary and slept with the corpses. I think we're both cursed now. I grew up with just my dad after my mom died in a car accident when I was 5. He's a mortuary worker. Embalmer. Whatever you want to call it. He's the guy who makes the dead look presentable for open caskets. Growing up, I didn't think much about his job. I'd ask dumb kid questions like, do dead people snore? And he'd just smile sadly and say, no, buddy. They're quiet forever. But as I got older, things changed. I got addicted to gore videos when I was 14. It started with curiosity, accident videos, crime scene photos, stuff like that. Then it escalated. I'd stay up all night watching cartel execution clips, body dismemberments, morgue footage. And yeah, I'd goon to it. It's sick, I know. I hated myself every time, but I couldn't stop. It wasn't even about sex after a while. It was like something was pulling me toward it. Last week, my dad caught me. He came into my room unexpectedly while I had headphones on and a video playing. A woman's body, mutilated beyond recognition, was on my screen. I was in the middle of, you know. He didn't yell. He didn't even look angry. He just went pale, like every drop of blood drained out of his face. Then he started crying. Harder than I've ever seen a grown man cry. I didn't know what to do. I just sat there, pants halfway down, completely frozen. He sank onto my bed and said, it's happening again. I asked him what the hell he was talking about. That's when he told me everything. When my mom died, he lost himself. He'd work late nights alone at the mortuary, drinking whiskey, talking to the bodies like they could hear him. And one night, he crossed the line. A young woman had been brought in after a motorcycle crash. She was beautiful even in death, he said. He was drunk. Lonely. He touched her. Then he went further. It wasn't a one-time thing. He admitted he did it several times over the years with different corpses. Until one day, a family came in to view their daughter's body and immediately knew something was wrong. The mother started screaming. She's been defiled. She's been ruined. The family wasn't just angry, they were strange, he said. The father handed him a small paper talisman with symbols scrawled in something that looked like blood and whispered in a language my dad didn't understand. You will know our pain. You and your bloodline. The bodies you loved so much will love you back. Dad brushed it off as grief-stricken ravings at the time. But then things started happening. At first, it was small. He'd hear knocks from the refrigerated drawers. See corpses with subtle expressions they didn't have before. A dead woman's hand curled slightly as he walked past. A man's mouth seemed to widen in a grin overnight. Then came the nightmares. Bodies from his work crawling out of the drawers, lips sewn shut, eyes bleeding, whispering his name. When my mom died, he thought it was an accident. But now he's convinced it was part of the curse. And when he saw me going down the same path, pleasuring myself to go, he broke. He said it was the curse infecting me, pulling me toward the same sin. The next stage is worse, he whispered. First the obsession, then the hunger, then, he couldn't finish. I asked him what happens in that next stage. They'll take us. Twist us. Use our bodies like we use theirs. Since that night, he's been acting manic. He's covered the mirrors in the house with sheets, nailed shut every window, and started burning incense and muttering prayers in some foreign language. He even went back to the mortuary after hours to apologize to the dead. But it's too late. 2 nights ago, I woke up and couldn't move. Sleep paralysis, I thought. Until I felt cold fingers brushing my thighs. Then something licked my ear and whispered, "You're so warm." Last night, I found a photo in my dad's drawer of me as a baby. Except I wasn't alone. There was a figure in the background, gray, bloated, its stitched mouth smiling unnaturally wide. I don't know what to do. My dad says we have one chance, we have to give them what they want. He won't tell me what that means. I'm terrified he's planning to kill us both to stop whatever's coming. But part of me thinks maybe that's the only way. I can hear scratching in the walls as I type this. I don't think we're alone anymore.
My dad was a Freemason and now they want me to take his place, but I'm not even his biological daughter. I don't even know where to start because this feels like some fever dream I can't wake up from. But I need to get this off my chest because I feel like my entire existence is spiraling, and if I don't make the right move soon, I won't survive. I grew up thinking my family was normal. We weren't rich but we lived comfortably. My dad, R.I.P., was this super stern, charismatic man who everyone in the neighborhood respected. People called him Brother Thomas sometimes, which I thought was just some church thing because we also went to church on Sundays. He was always away at meetings in the evenings, and sometimes he'd come home smelling like burnt herbs or candle wax. My mom was quiet and reserved. She never questioned him in front of us, me and my older brother, Jake. But I remember one night, when I was 13, I woke up to her sobbing in the kitchen while my dad was yelling in some language I didn't understand. I didn't think much of it back then. Fast forward to 2 years ago, my brother Jake was killed in a freak accident. The official story was that he drowned while fishing with friends, but the circumstances were weird. Jake was a strong swimmer. He'd won medals in high school. And when his body was found, there were these deep cuts on his arms and chest, shaped almost like, this will sound insane, a compass and square. After Jake's funeral, my dad changed. He became more restless. He spent nights in his study, murmuring to himself, drawing strange diagrams, and lighting black candles. One night I peeked in and saw him with his hands on a giant leather-bound book, whispering so fast it didn't sound like English. When he noticed me, he slammed the book shut so hard it made me jump. He told me to never enter his study again. Then 6 months ago, he died of a heart attack. Or at least, that's what the coroner said. But when we were sorting through his things, I found something hidden in the back of his closet, a wooden box with a dagger, a black robe, and a mask with one eye covered and the other cut out in a triangle shape. There was also a letter addressed to the successor. I didn't open the letter. I wish I had. Last week, 2 men came to our house. They were dressed in normal clothes but wore identical silver rings with the same compass square symbol from Jake's wounds. They spoke to my mom first while I eavesdropped from the hallway. One of them said, "The rites must continue. The bloodline demands a successor." My mom's voice cracked when she said, "She isn't his." I froze. The other man said, "That changes nothing. She's been raised under his name. She's next." My mom begged them not to involve me. She said something about the blood vow failing if it isn't of his seed, and how she'll die like the last girl. The men grew quiet. One of them said, "It's not our choice. She'll be summoned on the 7th night of the crescent moon." They left. I confronted my mom immediately. She broke down and told me everything. When she was younger, she had an affair with a man from her hometown. I'm his child, not my dad's. She said my dad never found out because Jake was his biological son, so no one questioned anything. But now that Jake's dead, the Freemasons believe I have to take my father's place in their organization. Except here's the terrifying part. My mom swore to me that the ritual to take his place isn't just symbolic. She said it requires a blood offering and the heir to seal a pact that my dad started decades ago. And if the heir isn't of his blood, the rite consumes them instead. "You'll die, May," she whispered, shaking me. "They'll drain you. They'll turn your body into a vessel for whatever they worship. I don't even know where to begin. I can't go to the police. How do you even explain this? Hey, my dad was in a death cult, and now they're going to sacrifice me because I'm not his biological child." I tried researching Freemasonry online, but nothing comes up about rituals like this. Everything is sanitized, charity, brotherhood, secret handshakes. But I know what I saw. I've found pages from my dad's journal. Drawings of circles, eyes, goats, bodies with their hearts missing. Scribbled notes like, "The vessel must remain pure until the binding. Jake's resistance caused the awakening. May cannot resist. The daughter is the key. I don't sleep anymore. Every night I hear tapping on my window. When I check, no one's there, but I swear I can see shadows in the yard. My phone rings at 3 a.m. with no caller ID. When I answer, there's heavy breathing and whispers of 7 nights. 7 seals. I'm scared out of my mind. I have no friends I can trust. Hell, for all I know, they're involved too. My mom is terrified but she refuses to leave town. I don't want to die. I don't want to be part of whatever this is. But how do you escape a legacy that's been hunting you since before you were born?